At about 1 o'clock in the morning on July 20th, 1933, Platte County Sheriff Holt Coffey walked towards a tourist cabin outside of Platte City, Missouri. Lawmen had surrounded the building, an armored car blocked the driveway, and officers believed the 5 people inside were dangerous fugitives. Coffey announced that he was the sheriff and ordered the occupants to open the door. Clyde Barrow responded by firing through it. Within minutes, Clyde's brother, Buck, would be shot in the head. Blanche Barrow would suffer serious injuries to her eyes, and the gang's only escape route would appear to be blocked. Bonnie and Clyde had been surrounded before, but this time it looked as though there was nowhere left to go. The Barrow Gang had arrived at the Red Crown Tourist Court at a particularly bad moment. A little more than a month earlier, Bonnie Parker had been severely burned when Clyde drove off an unfinished bridge near Wellington, Texas. Her right leg remained badly injured, making travel difficult and forcing the gang to spend more time in hiding than Clyde normally preferred. By July, the group consisted of Bonnie, Clyde, Clyde's older brother Buck Barrow, Buck's wife Blanche, and W.D. Jones. At the Red Crown, they rented 2 cabins connected by garages. Bonnie and Clyde occupied one while Buck, Blanche, and Jones stayed in the other. It looked like the kind of roadside stop where 5 travelers might disappear for a few days. What Clyde needed was time. Bonnie was still recovering, everyone was exhausted, and constantly moving increased their chances of being recognized. The Red Crown offered private cabins and a garage where their automobiles could be kept out of sight, but the location contained an irony the gang apparently did not appreciate. The nearby Red Crown Tavern was familiar to members of the Missouri State Highway Patrol. In the days before two-way radios were common in patrol cars, headquarters sometimes contacted troopers by calling restaurants where they were known to stop. The Red Crown was one of those places. The gang had chosen a hideout beside a business regularly visited by law enforcement. Their behavior soon attracted attention. According to Missouri Highway Patrol Captain Thomas Whitecotton's later account, the 3 men and 2 women avoided the Red Crown Tavern and sent someone across the highway for food instead. A check of their automobiles revealed that it had been stolen in Oklahoma. Platte County Sheriff Holt Coffey was alerted, and by July 19th, officers from several agencies were gathering around the cabins. Coffey requested assistance from Jackson County Sheriff Tom Bash, who brought deputies in an armored car. Missouri Highway Patrol Captain William Baxter, Sergeant Thomas Whitecotton, and Trooper Leonard Ellis were also there. Officers positioned themselves around the tourist court, while the armored vehicle was placed in the driveway to block what appeared to be the gang's only route out. Around 1 in the morning, Coffey and Baxter approached the cabin where Bonnie and Clyde were staying. They carried weapons and protective shields. Coffey identified himself and ordered the door open. Instead, Clyde fired through the closed door, and the quiet tourist court erupted in gunfire. Bonnie and Clyde could reach their automobile through an interior door, but Buck and Blanche and W.D. Jones had a much more dangerous problem. They had to leave their cabin and cross exposed ground to reach the car. When they came out, Captain Baxter fired and struck Buck in the head. The wound was catastrophic, but Buck was still alive. Blanche helped him toward the automobile while the others continued firing. Clyde and Jones concentrated their fire on the armored car blocking the driveway. 1 round penetrated the vehicle and slightly wounded a deputy inside. The men in the armored car pulled it out of the way. In doing so, they opened the route Clyde needed. Clyde drove through the opening with all 5 members of the gang inside. Officers fired at the departing automobile as it disappeared into the darkness. One of the shots shattered glass near Blanche, badly injuring her eyes. Buck lay inside with a severe head wound. Yet somehow, despite the officers surrounding the cabins, the armored vehicle, and the amount of gunfire exchanged, the entire Barrow Gang had escaped the Red Crown. Several lawmen had also been injured, although none seriously. Sheriff Coffey himself received a minor buckshot wound to the neck. According to Whitecotton, Coffey apparently believed Clyde had shot him, but the buckshot had actually come from a state trooper who mistook the sheriff as one of the fugitives in the darkness. The escape was a victory only in the narrowest possible sense. Clyde had gotten everyone away from the Red Crown, but Buck's condition was desperate and Blanche could barely see. The gang fled north into Iowa looking for somewhere to hide and recover. Only days later, they were discovered again near an abandoned recreation area known as Dexfield Park. On July 24th, another group of lawmen surrounded them. Bonnie, Clyde, and W.D. Jones escaped once more, but Buck was shot again and captured alongside with Blanche. He was taken to a hospital in Perry, Iowa, where he died on July 29th. The Red Crown shootout became one of the most extraordinary escapes of Bonnie and Clyde's criminal career. The gang had been surrounded in 2 small cabins, their driveway blocked by an armored car, and one of their members had been critically wounded. Still, Clyde found a way though. But the escape also marked the beginning of the end of the 5-person Barrow Gang. Buck would be dead within days, Blanche would be in custody, and W.D. Jones would eventually leave Bonnie and Clyde behind. They had escaped in Red Crown, but they had not escaped what was coming. Thank you all for liking and subscribing to the channel. If you would like to write the Eclectic Historical Society, you can send us a letter to this address, and we will return the favor with a hand-typed letter on our 1930s typewriter. With that being said, this is the Eclectic Historical Society, and remember, history is lost if it isn't repeated.